When putting together your home studio, there's a ton of things to take into consideration. How big is your room going to be? What kind of music are you going to be making? What equipment do you need to record this music? What kind of studio monitor should I get? What kind of computer do I need? And even more questions. But if you ignore this one thing, all of that hard work, time, and money may go to waste. You can have the perfect equipment for your setup, but this one thing will be the difference between amateur and pro sounding recordings and tracks. So you have your setup and you're recording drums, for example. The sound of the cymbals and the drums reflects to the ceiling and walls and bounces back into the microphones. Then when time for mixing comes, the projected sound from the monitors goes past your ears, hits the wall, and bounces around the reflection points of the room until it diminishes. The sound may hit a wall multiple times before dissipating completely. When mixing, you will not be getting a clean source. The reverberations in the room will introduce frequencies that do not belong in your recording. To find reflection points in your room, take your cell phone or a mirror and slide it along the wall until you can see your studio monitors and the reflection. Do this for both your speakers and you'll find your reflection points. For drums, it's a little different because basically the entire room is the reflection points for drums. But there's an Achilles heel whenever it comes to room reflections, and that is corners. Corners come at a 90-degree angle between your wall and ceiling, and this makes sound reflect and reverberate more than it should. It also causes disturbances in your space, and lower frequencies such as bass reflect more in these areas because they're stronger. Corners are the enemy of the home studio. Not having acoustic treatment will ruin your studio space. So how can we fix this? We need to treat your room. But what kind do you need? Well, there are different types of foam as well as thicknesses. Let's go over the differences. All acoustic foam has a noise reduction coefficient, or NRC, that basically rates the sound of absorption a material has. Ranging from 0.0 to 1.0, the best NRC rating is 0.90. And you want to avoid anything below 0.70. 0.70 is the minimum because it absorbs 70% of the sound and reflects 30% of the sound. Any more is not worth it. And any more reflected is not enough being absorbed by the foam. Now let's go over some ratings. For this example, we're going to be using wedge foam. A 2-inch thick piece of wedge foam has a 0.65 overall rating. A 3-inch has a 0.75 rating, a 4-inch has a 0.8 overall rating, and most space traps are going to be a 1.2. 3-inch wedge foam is going to be the best option because it absorbs all high, mid, and low frequencies in your space. We here suggest wedge foam because of its ratings. A 4-inch piece of pyramid foam has a rating of 0.65, same as a 2-inch thick piece of wedge foam. This is because the wedge foam absorbs more efficiently than the pyramid foam. Anechoic chambers use wedge sound absorption, which are rooms completely soundproof. In these floor-to-ceiling treated rooms, sound dissipates almost instantly. There are absolutely no reflections in these spaces, so if it's good enough for an anechoic chamber, this is going to do just fine for our home studio. Also, if you've learned something and you're getting value from this video, please hit the like button and consider subscribing to our channel. Now let's get back into it. Now we're going to take just a couple things into consideration. The walls in your room are going to be made of wood or drywall, but some rooms are made of concrete, brick, or other surfaces like that. Whenever you have a room that's made of drywall, there's already a little bit of sound absorption that takes in very small frequencies. If you have something like a concrete or a brick room, these frequencies are not going to be absorbed by the walls. This here is drywall. There's an air gap in there as well as insulation. You can hear how it echoes. And over here we have concrete. There is no absorption, it's just reflections. Now let's talk about furniture. Furniture may strengthen or weaken the acoustic treatment in your room. If you have a couch in the corner, like I'm sitting on here, this is going to absorb some frequencies in your room. But bass is usually the main frequency that's absorbed by furniture like this. Having thick curtains in your space like we have here can also help reduce reflections in your room from windows or from sliding glass doors. Putting a carpet under your drum set can also help a little bit as well. Now, if you have any hard desks or small tables that are a little bit in a reflection point, it is best to either move those or get them out of your room. Unless you can put something over them so that sound doesn't reflect, they should be moved out or out of the reflection points. There is a lot that goes into this, but trust me, doing all this hard work will pay off and it will help your audio and your studio. If you have any hard reflective surfaces that you need to cover, there's a couple ways we can go about this. Acoustic blankets, acoustic panels, or acoustic foam. Depending on your situation and your budget, it will change depending on how those factors fit in. If you cannot drill into the wall, take for example if you're renting, then foam or acoustic blankets will be your best option, because with foam and acoustic blankets you can hang them using command strips or command hooks. This will most likely be for a smaller budget. But if you're in a more permanent space and you can drill into the walls, acoustic panels will be the best option for you. And this will be for a slightly larger budget. Professional studios will spend thousands and thousands of dollars just on acoustic treatment alone. This here should show you just how important it is to have it in your space. Now I'm not telling you to go out and spend, $5,000 on acoustic treatment, though if you could, that would be really cool and that would really help you out. And I won't stop you, just be wise with your money. And please just don't go crazy or bankrupt. Now, let's recap. Sound from all sources in your room have reflection points that will disturb your recordings and affect your mix. We can fix this by finding reflection points in your space and eliminating them using treatment. Corners are the enemy and can be dealt with utilizing bass traps. 3-inch wedge foam will absorb high, mid, and low frequencies in your room with an NRC rating of 0.75. This is the recommended minimum for treatment. Also, take time and add, rearrange, and move certain furniture out of your room. And find the best way to treat your room for your specific situation. Then, listen as your music comes to life in your newly treated space. Now that you've finished this video, you know just how important acoustic treatment is. But in this video, I'm going to show you common mistakes people make whenever purchasing acoustic foam. So, turn up the volume and rock on with Studio 612.